USC's 2026 recruiting class, it's almost filled up. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. Who's getting those last spots?
You are Locked On USC, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Culkin, and thanks for making Locked On USC. It's part of the Locked On Network, your first listen every day. Whether you're watching this show on YouTube, wherever you want to download this podcast, pick a platform. It's always free. I'm always going to appreciate your support. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. If USC was giving out Willy Wonka type of golden tickets, who's going to be the lucky handful that get the chance to call themselves Trojans? USC, we know, because we talked about it on the last episode of Locked On USC. They just had an incredible official visit weekend. Wrapped that up last week. Or over the weekend, actually. They had 11 of the guys show up who were already committed. They were there to kind of be the closers, convince everybody else, trying to help everyone else make the right choice. Peyton Dyer, the defensive back, cornerback from Duluth, Georgia, he made the right choice when he picked USC. He was one of the guys who was on his official visit. Two others who were there, Talanoa Elely, Ethan Booby Feaster. They're anticipated to make their intentions known soon. We know Father's Day is going to be for Talanoa Elely. Talked about that again on yesterday's episode of Locked On USC. I broke down Eley's final two choices. We know this for sure. He's going to play his college football in LA. So on Father's Day, one of those two schools is going to find out. They will eventually get his signature. Remember, he's class of 2026. Not playing this year for either USC or UCLA. I'm on record that Eley will be a Trojan. I'm only 95.6% confident, but I got to leave a little room because there's only two things that are for sure in life: death and taxes. So USC has committed right now 28 guys. Assuming Talanoa and Booby are going to be part of the class, that gives USC 30. We know the target number is 35. Who do you want Coach Riley and his coaching staff to focus on, kind of top off the class to get to that number 35? Who's left? As I mentioned, it appears that Brandon Arrington and Devon Benjamin, they're, at least allegedly, they're off the board right now. USC's got their eyes focused on one guy to cap off the secondary, Doug Belk's room. Now, keep in mind that R.J. Sermons is going to have a one-year head start. So he's already I think he's at USC now. He was originally part of the 2026 class. So the cornerback room, it's stacked, regardless if he was coming in 2026 or if he's getting there a year early. So if there's one more seat available, if Doug Belk says, I got room for one more, who's it going to be? It appears to be Jet Washington. He's going to be the guy getting that VIP treatment all the way to the end. It's probably going to be a USC versus Oregon battle. Excuse me. Dyer, who, he committed, he can play multiple positions. He's going to play free safety, he can play cornerback, play nickel. Jet might end up being the strong safety in this class. So you got Elbert Hill, Brandon Lockhart. Those are your two true cornerbacks. Madden Reardon, he's going to play somewhere because you're not going to keep that guy on the bench. All he does is make plays. Joshua Holland, he's another athlete that's going to be in the room. So if Jet gets that golden ticket to USC's Cardinal and Gold football factory, that's going to be 31. Okay, got 4 left. Got to get to 35. I think you have to make sure, you have to make it happen. Luke Wafel, the edge from New Jersey. You got to make sure he wants it. He's going to be in town this coming weekend for his official visit. Another one that's coming is Kevin Ford, KJ Ford, another defensive end player. I apologize. Don't have the information in front of me at the moment. But I think Wafel is their number one target. So, go ahead. As far as I'm concerned, give me 6'5.5", 260 pounds. Give me that edge from New Jersey. He's considered one of the top 50 players in the country. USC lands him, I'm going to forget all about Xavier Griffin, that he was even committed to USC. And you know what? So will you. That's a good trade. So now you're at 32. So what? Now what? Yep. A little ode to Clay Helton there. I think there's going to be one more offensive line guy that fills the quota. And, I've mentioned the name a few times. My everydayers probably saying, all right, we know who it is, Mark. Yep, it's Breck Kolage. He could be number 33. Remember, he's at IMG Academy. He's Kenye's teammate on that offensive line. Wouldn't be too bad. So if Kolage is number 33, now you've got 2 left. What's your strategy? Remember, you've got a full season of football ahead of you. High school seniors. Guys who, might be considered late bloomers. Late to the party. Don't forget Ryder Lyons, the quarterback. He's still out there. Remember, USC asked him to kind of move it back. Let's move your official visit to the regular season. So you got that out there as well. You're always going to make room for a Ryder Lyons if he wants in. Has USC moved on from him? I don't know. But, I know USC's still interested. No doubt about that. I think the prudent thing to do is to see who pops late in the high school ranks. Or in case, you got someone who might decommit, who's, somewhere that's already committed somewhere else, obviously decommit. If that person opens up their recruitment and someone USC is interested in, you want to give yourself a little bit of latitude. So, yeah, I think USC is going to save 2, maybe 3 spots for evaluation once the regular season starts, whether it's the high school season, college season, whatever. I don't think USC is going to have a full room of 35 commitments when USC kicks off against Missouri State, which, by the way, is in 80 days. Yep. We're almost there, man. Cannot believe it. All right, we got 2 more segments to go. By the way, let me know, who do you think USC should save spots for? I gave you my names, kind of giving a preview of who's anticipated to commit to USC. So whoever's left, who's out there, who do you want? Who should Coach Riley and his staff focus on? I gave you my names. Hit me up in the comment section. Let me know. In the next segment, we're going to talk about Athlon. That football publication. They put out their rankings. Specifically, we're going to talk about the big conference. USC, they weren't very good for 2025 Athlon's rankings. Yeah, they're not on the USC train. Talk about that next. There is nothing like the NBA playoffs. The intensity, the buzzer beaters, fans losing their minds. It's the kind of atmosphere you have to experience live and in person. I've done it. I've had the opportunity to watch the Lakers in the finals, going all the way back to their days at the Great Western Forum. Trust me, if you ever have the opportunity, check it out. Put it on your bucket list. If you want in on that experience, Game Time makes it fast and easy to get seats, even for the biggest playoff games, like the finals. You want to go to Oklahoma versus Indiana? Use Game Time. Did you know that prices actually drop the closer you get to tip-off? Well, they do. And Game Time gives you some killer last-minute deals, panoramic seat views. There's no surprise fees. I mean, Game Time, they are a total game changer. There are a ton of reasons why I like Game Time. Let me give you 2. Number 1, I love this feature that you can see the exact view before you buy. No surprises. Click on the seat. It's going to kind of pop up a window and you can say, oh, that's what it looks like from that seat. That's cool. Secondly, love this. With the Game Time guarantee, you know you're getting the best deal. If you find a better price in the same row and section, they're going to credit you 110% of the difference. And look, I'm a huge college football fan. I think you guys know that. That's why you're watching the show. But if you love the NFL as well, check this out. The NFL schedule release dropped recently, so now you can plan ahead. You can start looking for certain games to buy. You'll find great seats for as low as $100 thanks to exclusive discounts. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON, like Nancy, COLLEGE, and you're going to get $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Deep breath, Mark. Okay. I can't tell if this is just total disrespect or just total incompetence. Either way, let's just say both. There's a word I want to use, but I won't because it's not politically correct, and I don't want to offend any of the snowflakes out there. However, Athlon put out their Big Ten rankings, including each team by position groups, and this one went sideways real fast. Once I got to the first position group, which was the quarterback room, Athlon, in their infinite wisdom, believes that USC has the 10th best quarterback in the big conference. We talked about this on Inside the Trojan Huddle earlier this week. So when you're done watching Locked on USC, get on over there to the panel show that I take part of every week with the We Are SC crew of Eric McKinney and Greg Katz, and as well Chris Arledge. So this was a topic we talked about. The idea that there are teams with a better starting quarterback, that there are 9 teams with a better quarterback than what USC has, Jaden Maiava. I hate to say it so bluntly, but it's just dumb. Again, I would use a different word. Can't go there. There was so much reshuffling going on this season in the Big Ten Conference at that position. I mean, look, Drew Allar, he deserves to be the number one guy. I don't think anybody's going to question that. But after that, you have to say, all right, well, who else is returning that has a lot of game experience that should be, in the top 5? Well, you got Luke Altmaier from Illinois. Makes sense. And then pretty much after that, everything just is, everyone else is starting someone new. So Julian Sand, I think, was number 3 on their list. Ohio State's new quarterback. I get it, he was on the roster last year. But why is he number 3? What has he done? Why is Dante Moore up there? Why is Bryce Underwood? Why are those 2 guys specifically ahead of Jaden Maiava? Is it because of what they did on the field last year in college? Sarcasm. Here's another reason why this list is just completely dumb. Why is the transfer from South Dakota, Mark Gronowski, who went to Iowa, why is he rated so low compared to those guys? I mean, forget he's got some, championship pedigree to him. Like I said, this was just a terrible, Charles Barkley, terrible list. And look, Jaden Maiava, USC's quarterback room, they weren't the only group ranked number 10. USC's running back room, 10th best in the conference. Whatever. Here's the other one. This one really got under my skin. Wide receiver. USC is considered to have the 5th best group of wide receivers. Literally, at this point, I just started to look for something to throw at someone. Because only Ohio State has 2 guys that can stand toe-to-toe with Mekhi Lemon and Jacoby Lane. No one else. Maybe Penn State slips into the conversation. Maybe Oregon slips into the convo. No one else. So again, why is USC number 5? It's ridiculous. Offensive line, USC 10th, middle of the road, because returning 3 starters, 2 starters, and Tobias Raymond, who has starting experience, and bringing in 2 starters from Syracuse and Purdue. I guess that just doesn't cut the mustard for Athlon. USC is going to have one of the more experienced offensive lines in the big conference. John Ray Reed brings starting experience from Syracuse. DJ Wingfield from Purdue. You got Elijah Page going into his second year of starting at left tackle with plenty of playing experience. Olani Noah going to his 3rd year starting at right guard. Again, this list is just bad. USC's defensive line, 9th. Sure. I'm just reading off the rankings to you. Don't get mad at the messenger. Linebacker, USC's 12th. I'm not going to argue this. I'm not going to, compare USC's linebacker room to everybody else's. If Eric Gentry is on the field, that linebacker group moves up real quick. It's just a matter of, can he stay on the field? Defensive back, secondary, 12th. Again, just like the linebackers. Interesting, right? Find me a better safety combo. I know Ohio State's got Micah Downs. USC's got Kamari Ramsey, and they brought in Bishop Fitzgerald from North Carolina State. Again, where's the issues? As far as the team ranking, Athlon said USC is the 9th best team in the conference in 2025. Okay. 9th best. Yeah. Look, I have no idea how many college publications are out there today. They keep dropping off. But Athlon has to be ranked last, right? It's got to be between them and ESPN, because they come up with some of the funkiest, I did say funkiest lists that you can ever read. It's crazy. For this one, yeah. I mean, USC 10th best quarterback. They do understand Lincoln Riley, what he does with quarterbacks, right? They do understand Jaden Mayava is going into his 2nd year starting in the system. Whatever. Heavy sigh. This is the offseason. USC's having a really good one, but every now and then you got these publications that like to humble USC fans. So don't forget, we think this of you. Now, sound off, Trojan family. Let everybody know how you feel about it. All right, we got one more segment to go. This one's going to be a little fun. ESPN, they talked about the top 25 plays in college football since 2000. Let's talk about just USC's top plays since 2000. They could have their own top 25 list, and I don't even think that would be enough. But yeah, I have a few that I want to go over with you in the next segment. Before I start traveling down memory lane, talking about some of the best plays in USC history starting in 2000, one of this shows, as well as the Inside the Trojan Huddle, one of our everyday viewers, listeners, former high school coach, call him Coach Mike. I don't know if he wants me to put his whole name out there. You might be able to figure it out by the time I'm done with this. But anyways, Coach Mike, he sent me a message. He was watching Inside the Trojan Huddle, and we were having the debate about, should Talanoa Elely be given the number 55 jersey if he decides to commit to USC? I'm of the opinion that number has to be earned after you played for a year. That way, the Club 55 crew, they can vote on it and say, yeah, what, with our blessing, wear number 55. On the show, I suggested he should just wear number 58, kind of like Ray Ray, Lofet Tupu. Got some good Polynesian bloodlines wearing that jersey. Well, Coach Mike sent me a message, and I had no idea about this. Talanoa's uncle, Wilhans, Wilhans, he wore the number 58 jersey at Bishop Amat. Unfortunately, his uncle passed away last month. He was on his way to a trip to New York. Very unfortunate. But just to kind of remind everybody who Talanoa's uncle was, he was a really good football player in Southern California. Eley was a key member of the undefeated 1992 CIF Division I championship football team, Bishop Amat. His performance earned him CIF Player of the Year, and his number 58 jersey proudly hangs in the Bishop Amat Hall of Fame. This is actually a tough decision for Eley. If he was offered the 55 jersey, would you say no? I think this one would be okay if he said no. I think he wants to wear number 58. Wears it as a tribute to his uncle. Seems perfect, right? Seems apropos. Seems like the right thing to do. All right. So ESPN, they released their top 25 plays in college football since 2000. As I mentioned at the break, I think USC has their own list. Look, 4th and 9, the Bush push, same game, 2005. Those are gimmies. Right? They're on the list. So you gotta hit your memory bank. Got to be a little bit more original. As I mentioned, there are at least 25 plays times 2, times 100 that we can come up with. But we want, plays that had meaning, some significance, left an impression. So if we want to start back in 2001, that's a good year, right? First thing that pops into my head, obviously, well, that was Pete Carroll's first year, USC's head coach, right? Team went 6-6. But I remember Antoine Simmons going 5-hole for that pick 6 against UCLA. That's on my list. You want to jump ahead to 2002? All right. Remember Carson Palmer? Yeah. He had that long run against UCLA before he helicoptered into the end zone. That play literally propelled him to the Heisman Trophy. I can do this all day, but you know what? I had a little help. I have 2 Trojan friends who are also brothers. They listen every day. And literally, these guys are like USC game encyclopedias. And I said, hey, give me a couple of plays that you remember starting in 2000. And it was like I opened up the floodgates. My phone just, that ring chime you get when you get a text message, ding, ding. That thing was going off for like 30 minutes. They had some fun ones, though. So thank you, Mo. Thank you, Ike. One of them brought up Matt Barkley's touchdown pass to Damian Williams. Remember after Rick Neuheisel called that meaningless timeout at the end of the game? Oh, we were going to play to the end. Okay, well, so's USC. So yeah, that one definitely makes my list. How about Oregon State? Remember the Fog Bowl? Did you see it? Well, some plays you saw, most of the plays you didn't. But you did see Dominique Byrd making that catch against Oregon State in the fog. You definitely saw Reggie Bush make the fog disappear with that punt return for a touchdown. Since we're talking about, Dom Byrd catches, what about that one-handed catch for a touchdown against Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl? Pretty cool, huh? Like I said, each player could probably create their own list of 25. Let me ask you this. Which Rose Bowl highlight did you enjoy more in during the 2000s? You had Kerry Colbert. He had that over-the-shoulder touchdown catch against Michigan. Remember that? Yeah. Or how about BMW's throwback touchdown to Liner? Yeah, that double pass. You like that? I did. Remember Burnett's touchdown catch against Penn State from Sam Darnold? That one's got to be on the list. Manny Wright doesn't get a lot of flowers from USC fans, but he gets his flowers for that defensive series against Cal 2004 in the Coliseum. The loudest that place has ever been, save for the USC Notre Dame game back in 1974. Hopefully there'll be a USC Notre Dame game in the Coliseum in 2026. Otherwise, it's going to be the last time this year. What about Juju's? Remember Juju Smith-Schuster? Remember him? Remember that beast mode move against Utah? Where he kind of pointed at the DBs and did this, and all of a sudden just one arm shoved him into the USC sideline? That was beautiful. I love that type of stuff. You remember Michael Pittman's punt return for a touchdown? Remember how they faked out everybody, including the cameraman? That was kind of cool. Here's another Heisman moment. What about Caleb Williams? Remember that long run remember he was avoiding everybody in the pocket, stepping back, stepping forward, stepping to the side, and then all of a sudden taking off for that long run and then sliding into third base safe? That's got to be on the list. There are so many out there. So I'm not going to take them all. And like I said, Ike and Mo, they could probably do a list of 200 for us easily. Thank you. So give me yours. Hit me up in the comments section, especially if you're watching on YouTube. And if you are watching, excuse me, and you haven't subscribed yet, remember, it's free. So click that red subscribe button. Continue to help the show grow. Smash that thumbs up. The likes are great. I don't want you to miss an episode. So hit that bell notification. That way you can keep you locked in to USC on the Locked On USC channel all summer long, taking you all the way through fall camp and into the season. I'll be here. That's where you should be as well. So if USC is the place to be, Locked On USC is the place to be as well. All right. I'll be back again tomorrow with another episode. Until then, everyone, you know what to do.